Hello guys, welcome back to Anything Goes by Kemi, and today again we are in Kemi's kitchen and this is what's cooking here. So I'm going to give you another recipe for making mandazi, another simple recipe for making soft mandazis. This one also, if you follow it to the latter, you'll get soft mandazis. It's a guarantee. So unlike the other time we used margarine to butter our flour, today we are going to use hot oil. Yeah. So today we are going to use hot oil. We have our oil here, about 3 tablespoons. That is what I'm going to use. And then now for our dry ingredients, we have flour. This one is roughly around 4 cups of all-purpose flour. I used Soko. Where is this? This is what I use. This is what I always use anyway. This is Soko. And then we have baking powder. We have baking powder. Those are like 2 tablespoons. And then we have sugar. Then we have salt. I don't know if you can be able to see that. So our dry ingredients consist of all-purpose baking flour. And then we have sugar. Then we have salt. And then we have baking powder. So this flour is 4 cups, I think. Yeah, approximately 4 cups. So the amount of salt I'm going to use here is just a tablespoon. The amount of baking powder is 2 tablespoons. And then sugar. If you don't do sugar, you can actually do without it. But I've chosen to add sugar to mine. I know most of you add sugar in your mandazis, so you can add as much sugar or as less as your taste buds can take. Yeah, so for me, I've added around 3 tablespoons of sugar. Now I'm going to mix all our dry ingredients. All our dry ingredients, then using my hands. Now we have oil, hot oil. So using my hands, or rather my one hand, I'm going to butter this flour. So I have thoroughly buttered this flour. Now the next step, I'm going to make a well in my basin. Then add in warm water bit by bit as I knead this dough. So our dough is ready. As you can see, it's soft, it's stretchy, not so stretchy though. So I'm going to give you a secret. If you want your mandazis to be crunchy, make sure you don't over knead your dough. But if you want elastic mandazis, soft elastic ones, just knead your dough really well. Like knead it for a very long time until it's well assembled. It's super stretchy. If you can see my dough, It's stretchy but not super stretchy. Can you see that? Stretchy but not super stretchy. Because I want my mandazis to be kind of crunchy, not so crunchy like kangumus, but kind of crunchy. Soft and crunchy. Yeah, the soft crunchy ones. That's what I want. Your dough should be this way if you want to achieve that. Stretchy but not super stretchy. Another secret, if you want to have if you want to have soft crunchy mandazis, make sure you add a generous amount of baking powder. Like for instance, okay, there is a person who would have chosen to use 1 tablespoon of baking powder, yeah, in this recipe, 4 cups of flour, but you've realized I've used 2 tablespoons because I want my mandazis to be crunchy and soft. But again, don't overdo the baking powder. Just use a generous amount, but don't overdo it, because if you overdo baking powder in your mandazis will have I don't know, baking powder has got a tendency to smell when it has been used in excess. So don't use a lot of baking powder, just use a reasonable, generous amount. Yeah, so that's a tip. Now I'm going to lightly oil our dough and then cover this dough. Let it sit for 30 minutes. Because I don't want it to be dry, that's why I've oiled it like lightly. And now I'm going to cover this dough with a kitchen towel, a clean kitchen towel. Let it sit for 30 minutes, then we'll come back. Our dough is here 30 minutes later, and I think it's ready to be deep fried. So I'm going to sprinkle flour on my working surface. I almost said surface. On my working surface, I'm going to sprinkle flour like so. Then I'm going to roll this. Have a rolling pin. I have stretched our dough and our oil is already heating. Now it's time to make cutouts. So it's now time to deep fry our mandazis. I'm going to test our oil with this one piece. Yeah, I think that oil is ready. You see how crunchy that looks? And make sure don't overheat your oil. look at this one. Let's see this one. Like it's so soft, so crunchy, well cooked inside. So yummy, so soft, so crunchy, well cooked inside, so yummy. Yes, so I hope you try this recipe. See how amazing that looks. Yo. So that's it for today, guys. Stay blessed, stay safe, until we meet again in my next video.